Hi, my name is Anne. I'm a compulsive overeater. I eat 3 weight and measure meals a day from the gray sheet. I commit them to my sponsor. I don't eat in between my meals no matter what. And abstinence is the most important thing in my life. My abstinent date is the 7th of June, 1992. And before I start my qualification, I just want to say that seeing you, it's about jumping from one country to another country first, and also about all those time that we spent together about sharing about different things. So I have different moments, different speeches, different shares we had together, and it's. I just want to say that it's really worthy to do Grey Sheet because of this high quality of connection with you. So I will have 3 parts because, as you know, it's easier for me to write down my qualifications. So the first one is before Grey Sheet. The other one is my first 90 days in Grey Sheet. And the third part is my relationship with newcomers. So my first part is when the last week before I started Grey Sheet, it was the worst part of my life. And I was binging, purging, working, and being excited all over the place, like a really crazy overeater. And on Monday, I think I called Nancy in Paris because she was the only one about speaking French about Grey Sheet, and I said, I want to do Grey Sheet now. And she said, you have to come to the face-to-face meeting on Saturday. So from Monday to Saturday, I said, okay, I will do Grey Sheet on Saturday so I can binge now. So it was a week of binging. Now the second part is about the first 90 days. And those first 90 days were very difficult for me because I was able to only speak with one person who was my sponsor in French, and my English was very, very, very bad to be able to talk with the other person who were in the Grey Sheet community, which were in English. I was craving foods we can't have, and those foods were calling me. Those foods were everywhere in the reality, but also in my mind. And I was often thinking about food in between my abstinent meals. The time between meals were endless. I didn't really enjoy those abstinent meals. It was worse than a diet. Plain vegetables, a piece of fruit were not my favorite meals when I stopped overeating. I was hungry between meals. I drank only tea or coffee without sweeteners, no diet soda, no gum, and any kind of syrups. Coffee without sweeteners was awful, and it took me 14 months to enjoy coffee without it. My skin was awful, and especially my face. I was extremely exhausted. It was difficult for me to have a simple vision of what a happy, joyous, and free abstinence could mean. Even if I felt alone with my sponsor doing the food plan, I felt connected to a community, and I started learning English. I was full of hope in the darkness of my withdrawal. This was very strange, but this is what it was. I did all the actions, and I used all the tools I had at this time to survive in between meals in order to stay abstinent, to plan, prepare my abstinent meal, to call my sponsor on time. And I remember the 3 questions, the 3 basic questions. Are you abstinent? Yes or no. What is your day count? 1, 2, 3, 4. I love doing that. And what is your food plan? And then about the steps. I had also to read some pages of the big book, to say some prayers, to write a list of gratitudes. This was very difficult. To go to at least 2 AA meetings, to go to the GreySheet meeting face-to-face in Paris on Saturday, then on Sundays, to write 3 postcards in English to American to say that I was abstinent. Okay, I did that. I wrote my step 1 on day 1 and 2 against the suggestion of my sponsor, because I got the point that GSA was not a diet, but a free-fall illness. I must have the records of how many times I have watched my watch, some days in between meals, and particularly between 5 and 7 p.m. From the beginning, I had made a strong commitment to myself to not have my meals before 6 a.m., noon, and 7 p.m. Besides the fact that I lost 40 pounds or 20 kilos, the cravings became less and less powerful after my first 90 days or more. It took me at least 9 months to not suffer too much from cravings, and 14 months to start to feel some enjoyable relief. The withdrawal was difficult, but worthy. It was a foundation of my abstinence. So I have just these 2 very old. They are my first 90 days here. I have kept that step 1 and my food plan first year. That's it. And the withdrawal was difficult, but worthy. It was a foundation of my abstinence. I don't want to go back to this place anymore, but because I want to continue to learn with all of you, the GreySheet itself, and to enjoy the variety and abundant GreySheet meals and all the connection that I can find. Thank you, being in this community. So what is my relationship, number 3, with newcomers today? The newcomers give me a new energy, as most of the time they are very willing and enthusiastic to use the specific tools of GSA recovery, the food plan, a food sponsor, the scale, and the no matter what and without exception definition. I can feel their courage to show up, to share their strengths and hope. I feel their honesty when they share about their victories, their struggles, and sometimes their relapses. I hear their willingness to try again and again and to stay close to the fellowship. I love when they share their day count, as it is a reminder to me that it is one day at a time. I love reading their posts on Facebook or on the GreyNet. Sometimes I answer to them because their posts are so inspiring. I love hearing that they are losing weight and achieving the physical recovery. I love their history and their pictures. I also receive phone calls from newcomers, and I love reaching out to newcomers. At the moment, there is a newcomer who calls me quite every morning around 6 a.m. my time. She says that it is her first call and that she likes starting her day with a phone call. I really love this connection as a powerful tool to start my own day. Last September, after the 12-step GSA workshop in London, I had the privilege to witness 2 newcomers in a face-to-face meeting in Brighton. 7 months after, I met them again at the London Roundup. They had lost so much weight and they were so happy to live in the solution. I don't know the words to express the power of such an experience.
10 minutes, Anne, 10 minutes.
Thank you. Those past 18 months in France, in Paris, I also met every 2 months on average a member who has lost weight regularly. And it was a blessing to share face-to-face with him about GSA recovery. At the London Roundup in London this beginning of May, I spent some quality times with newcomers. I specifically enjoyed having a meal with them. It was a great way for me to meet new members face-to-face in a more private and intimate way. Since that meet, we continue to stay in touch. I always identify myself with newcomers in terms of their food history. Like most of them, I had tried a lot of ways to address my food addiction, and GreySheet was the last block of the house who could offer me a long-term abstinence. And now I am really happy to share with you my beautiful vision was started with a newcomer. I had the privilege since the 1st of February 2022 to sponsor a newcomer. It was a very nourishing experience and we became friends after speaking every single day about the food plan and the steps. She went to France last June and we went together in Chartres, a beautiful town, to celebrate my 30 years back-to-back abstinence in a very friendly GreySheet restaurant after a beautiful walk. And guess what? I'm going to celebrate this coming 7th of June, if God's will, 31 years of abstinence with her again, and in her country where I have never been. I couldn't have a better gift to celebrate my GreySheet anniversary with a GreySheeter face-to-face. It was not planned, not expected, it just happened. To conclude, recovery from food addiction with newcomer in GreySheet is a gift, a privilege, and a blessing from God. Recovering from food addiction with all timers and all the members of this community from all over the world is also a gift of this program. I'm not alone anymore, and I will never be. And I would like to use an extract of Tradition 2 with my own words. There is one ultimate authority, a loving God, as he may express himself in our meeting today. Thanks for letting me share.